Hi guys, this is Roger from FTSE100training.com, and I just wanted to make a video that I feel is very important on changing one's mindset, changing one's psychology, changing one's past programming, because I feel, from birth right up until, let's say, 16, 18, perhaps even 20, we are trained by the system, by the educational system, to become an employee or to become a specialist or self-employed, i.e. a doctor or motor mechanic. I think you get the picture. So what I wanted to share with you here is something that I, through my own personal development, have come across, and I've implemented these little I call them little, but it's really not little in that it's something so simple but yet has the ability to change your life tenfold. So without waffling on, I'm going to get straight onto what you can see on your screen. Most of us, like I said, from our cradle, we're taught to be an employee, to go to school, work hard, get a safe, secure job. We hear that all the time. So we fall into the employee category, and we do a good job at it. And some of us hate our jobs, and that's fine. That was me. I hated what I did. So I made the transition to becoming self-employed. So from the employee, I moved down and I became self-employed. So I thought, you know what, I can't wait to get rid of this boss of mine. I sacked my boss. I became self-employed. Prior to becoming self-employed, I said, oh, I'm just going to love it, I'm going to do what I want when I want, and so on and so forth. Only to discover that when you become self-employed, you lose the benefit of holiday pay, sick pay, and quite a few other little benefits that are attached to being an employee. So I was self-employed. No doubt I did not have a boss, but I found that I had to work harder, put in a lot more hours, and to the point where I used the 5 years that I was self-employed to educate myself. I had time for what I did. Although I was self-employed, I had quite a lot of time in between, and in that in-between time, I used to have DVDs in my car, and I used to have tons and tons of books in my car, studying over these 5 years to make the transition from the left-hand side of the quadrant. Follow my cursor, please. This is the left-hand side of the quadrant. I knew in my education program to becoming financially free that I needed to make the transition from, like I said, here, the left-hand side, over to the right-hand side. Now this is where the rich reside, so to speak. This is where the rich live. Okay, the 4%ers of the world's population. 96% of the world's population works for 4% of the world's population, just to give you an idea. Yeah, it's pretty staggering, isn't it? So I wanted to become a 4%er. I always have known to be non-conforming. I don't fall into any brackets. I love freedom, and I want to express and share this with as many people as I possibly can out there. So once again, I wanted to make the transition from the left to the right. So I wanted to become a business owner. Now, when I first started out in business, like any story, I didn't make a success out of many businesses that I was involved in. In fact, I failed terribly. But I continued in this side of the quadrant until, like I said, 5 years ago, when I discovered that where the rich actually play, and where the rich and the super rich and the elitists play in the financial markets and property. So my research led me to this domain where the rich are, where the rich play: financial markets and property. So after many business failings of mine and of one or two successes, I discovered the financial markets. I couldn't get into property because even after I spent tons and tons of cash learning a property, I didn't have the initial investment now that are being imposed by the banks, i.e. 20 to 30% upfront. So I thought, all right, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make money from the financial markets, and then I'm going to transfer that money over to property, because property makes money. Over the last 130 years, property has doubled on average every 7 to 10 years. I repeat that. Over the last 130 years, property has doubled in value between 7 to 10 years. So that's where I want most of my time to be spent. That's where I want most of my money involved and invested in property. But like I said, in order to get there, I need another vehicle to get me there. So I use the financial markets. So with the help of Adrian Haslam, I have to always bring reference to him. With my business partner, we developed FTSE100training.com, whereby we teach people to own a system so that they have the ability to change their lives forever. So then what we essentially are saying is, look, you can make the transition quite easily from the left to the right. Now, for what we do, it's really, really simple but not easy. We have a 1-month training program. After the training program has elapsed, we continually give you support. We continually communicate with you through Skype, and you're forever in the loop, so to speak, with regard to what we're doing, and we're always assisting you to develop and become better and better and better. So like I said, our system will offer you ultimately the freedom to do what you want, when you want, for as long as you want. That's what we offer. The beauty of our system is it falls into where the super rich live, where the banks live, where the elitists live, really where all the smart money is, and that is the investor. So what we do is we teach you a business which you own. If you want, you can have people working for you, or you can just own your own business. Like I said, from the B, you become an I. You invest in the most important person. You invest in yourself, and you use that investment to invest in the financial markets, i.e. we trade the FTSE 100. So we teach you how to make the transition from the left hand side of the cash flow quadrant to the right hand side of the cash flow quadrant, whereby we teach you a system which is your own business, and ultimately you become an investor.